Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos. And this is what the show is looking like at this evening. We'll be talking about the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Of course, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria are in a very, very tough group because a 5-time champion, Brazil, is in Group D with Nigeria and Italy. You also have Dominican Republic in that group. NPFL will get our attention because it's running fast. You just have 4 games left. The teams going on relegations and the teams trying to make a Super 6. We'll be digesting that tonight. And also talk about the game that's currently going on between Arsenal and Southampton. This is a must-win game for Arsenal. Right now at halftime, it was a 2-1. The first half had to go into 7 minutes at a time was given at that first half. 2-1, Southampton leading, going 2 goals up in that particular match. Also, we'll talk about the FA Cup semi-finals that's taking place this weekend. Manchester United against Brighton, trying to bounce back from the drubbing they received from Sevilla. Of course, Europa League specialists last night, and see how they can make it to the finals of the FA Cup. Manchester City will also be in action in the FA Cup Sheffield Wednesday. That's the opponents they will be playing against. And of course, the CAF Confederations Cup will also get our attention because Rivers United are in action this weekend on Sunday at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. That's where they will be playing by 2 p.m. That's when they will be playing that game right here in Nigeria against Young Africans of Tanzania. And so this is what the lineup is looking like tonight on Sport Tonight. Of course, Austin will join me much later from London. And right here in the studio, we've got Segun Vincent joining me.
Yeah,
how you doing?
Happy in the future, you know.
Same to you, Ed Mubarak, right? That's a good
Ed Mubarak, yeah, sorry. It's good to be back on the show. And like we know, we discussed before, the Under-20, the draws have been released, the MPFL, and our eyes is on the game, the Arsenal game. They gave Arsenal an early shocker. Arsenal were a bit skanky in that game, but this has so much more we're talking about on the show. So basically, that's what we're looking for.
All right, let's start up with this one. Start up with the draw that was done this evening, the headquarters in Zurich by FIFA, talking about the Under-20 World Cup. Nigeria, of course, is in a group that when you look at it, you will wonder what will London Bosso boys do to be able to get out of this group. It's a tough group for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. But then when they've been to, Nigeria's actually reached, they've been finalists twice, but that's been a long time ago. It's been a while when Nigeria actually had a superb performance when it comes to this particular competition. They finished run-outs to occasion in Saudi Arabia in 1989 and Netherlands in 2005. And of course, they were bronze medalists in 1985. So it's been a long time. Nigeria had so much. And this championship is starting on the 20th of May. And the opening match is, of course, host nation Argentina. They've won it 6 times, the most successful teams, followed by Brazil. They will have their opening match against Uzbekistan. That will be May 20th when it starts. A good draw for Flying Eagles.
Is it a good draw? Well, on paper, we still say it's a good draw. Although there's an uprising in talent development in Europe, so we have a lot of young players in flux, both like the guys of France, Germany, Italy, or fortunately for us, or unfortunately for us, we have Italy in our group. But they are no, when it comes to the other competitions, they are not so much fantastic as compared to the South African counterparts when it comes to the likes of Brazil, Argentina, and a couple of other nations there. But I feel like also, one of the funny statistics about this coach is that after we came second in the 2005 tournament, and Nana took over, and then he left in 2009, and then he's now the one taking over now. So probably maybe the deja vu or something. I really don't know, but I feel like shortly before these draws, he called in I think the 35-man squad. And like I said before earlier on the part of the show, that one of the biggest issues we had at the underage is that there seems to be like a decline in not winning. Although yes, at the unders, the idea is what they call selective planning, that the players move up higher, and of course that they boost their career in various aspects. Because you look at their counterparts like Toni Kroos, who were then in the tournament, David De Gea. These players are still soaring. These players are still soaring high in their earlier careers as compared to our own counterparts. So these are issues we need to look at. I believe that this is an tournament again. The biggest threat in the group will be the Brazilian side. I really like Nigeria has you can get a good result against the Italian side and also against the Dominican side. Not to say that this Italian side and Dominican side are minors or they are a side that we can easily run off, but Senegal. I believe that with a level of experience, a level of history, we can be able to get something. And of course, we have looked at parts that we've gotten a bronze medal and they run out in 5 hours. 207 to now is a long time, and we need to break that jinx of probably at some point in time we have to win the competition or probably get back into the flows. Win competition might be maybe on paper might be a big ask, but we need to look at it and change the dimensions of how things have been played. You know what they say Rome wasn't built in a day, but you have found that you have to start building Rome at some point in time. Whether you finish building it next year or the year after is not the issue, but we have to set forth decadence, set up an environment, create a chemistry, new players coming into the team, both home and abroad. And so these are part of the things that we're going to harness. I remember talking to you before we came to the studio as regards players coming from abroad and how we can galvanize things through, and this can make the football of our dreams, both in the under competitions and the national side too, because the idea is for there to be continuity, for them to be winning medals, for them to create chemistry among the team, for there to be team harmony, for the coaches also to be well developed and also create what they call talent development. There's a demand in talent development across Europe. As you can look at the older talents, I know this is a bit controversial, but you look at the likes of the Bebeto days, the likes of the Ronaldo days, you can't compare them to the likes of players that are now, because of what the talent development has kind of a big change, and because football is more about statistics now than the talent itself. So it has changed the way people see football, and we need to work our side because in developing talent, because talent development is down to, first of all, the talent, and two, the coaches. And how can you work on the talent is more at the underage side and the futsal side. Underage in specific, that is under 20s, under 17, under 16, and whatsoever. So I feel like this competition is a way of pushing things. We'll talk less of Pogba, Koulibaly, Koulibaly is in a different category. Pogba, Samuel Umtiti that won the competition some years back, and I feel like and there's also continuity, progression too. Right. That is another thing we need to look at. So winning the medals, progression for players, and of course pushing the players into the national team, and of course developing the players, moving their careers onto quote-unquote better climbs or better clubs for them to push their career in a better place.
All right, Austin is ready to join us now from London. Austin, it's great to have you.
Finally, Cecilia, good to be on the show. Sporting greetings for everyone.
You're watching us now, right?
Of the world. Yeah, I know. Following that.
I know.
Incredible start. For Southampton, look, when people talk about these things, I just laugh, because when you play teams that are battling to stay in the English Premier League, then it's very, very difficult. And Southampton has shown that Arsenal needs to show character now. They need to show that they won this league title, because if they don't win tonight, then I think that will do a lot of, damage to their mentality. But let me quickly jump onto the FIFA 20 World Cup. I like the draw. Ask me why. I like the draw because for you to advance in a competition, you need to play the best teams. And Brazil comes with so much quality, and it's under 20 level, and I just bring draw against Brazil because now everybody's just looking at the names. They're saying Brazil, Italy, can Nigeria make it? How big is Italy at the under 20 level, Brazil, we can understand because of the abundance of talents in the South America region. Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, they can boast of so much talent. But we can also, our problem is managing those young talents, But with Ladan Boso and his team, they just need some tweaking in their mentality. They need to get into that mode of, can we make history? Can we get people to talk about us? Can we write our names amongst the best that have passed through this level onto the Super Eagles? I like the momentum that they took into the Africa Championship, but whatever happened. That one is gone, and they were able to get bronze. Get back into that mode. It's all about your mindset when you play this sort of competition, because if I ask people now, start calling me all the big names in the Brazilian team that everybody's already shaking about, you struggle. At that level, it's all about development. So go out there and say, look, we're all level. It's just Brazil. It's the name that they have. Nigeria have beaten Brazil at the international level before. Cameroon beat their world-class team at the World Cup. They are beatable. You just need to go there with the mindset that, look, we're here to play football. We're here to give Africa and Nigeria a fantastic representation. And most importantly, get out of the Group D table.
Yeah, that's really important for them to go forward, because if you don't get out of the group, that's the end of the road for you. That's what it's like. I mean, there is no second chance. Win your games and then get out of the group. Hopefully, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria will be able to do that. We can have confirmation of the groupings again, starting from Group A, where you have Argentina, Uzbekistan, Guatemala, and New Zealand. These are the teams. You also have USA. They are in Group B against Ecuador, Fiji Islands, and Slovakia. When I saw that group, why is Nigeria not in this particular group? You have Senegal in Group C against Senegal in Group C, Japan, Israel, and of course Colombia. And in Group D, you have Italy, Brazil, Nigeria, Dominican Republic. Group E, where you have Uruguay, Iraq, England, and Tunisia. And of course, Group F, France, who won in it 2013 just once, are up against Korea Republic, the Gambia, and Honduras. This is what is looking like, talking about the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. So May 20th, that's when it's starting. We'll see, it's all about developments. But then Nigeria Football Federation already charged the Flying Eagles of Nigeria to go all out to see how they can win it for the first time. The last time they were in the finals was actually in Netherlands. That was 2005. And guess who were eventual champions? Messi was in that squad. And of course, Nigeria was in the Mikel Obi was also in that squad. So that's the last time we actually had a fantastic outing in this competition. Hopefully this time around it will be a better one. All right, we're leaving this and going straight to the CAF Confederations Cup. And of course, this weekend, Rivers United will be in action against Young Boys in Uyo. That's where the first leg is taking place. And of course, Stanley Neguma has said that his team will be coming with a different approach. Remember last 2021, they played them, and of course they won both legs. Yes, but this time around is a different team. They're topping their champions from the top the group from at the group stage. Not just that, in their league, they're also topping. And this team, obviously, it's not going to be a walkover. There
won't be a walkover, although last time, 2021, I think Rivers United won both games. You look at this side, they also have a couple of experience. They have some lot of experience at the CAF levels. I think they've appeared in the CAF Confederations Cup one time more than Rivers United. Look, don't take away from these young Africans. I know from what we look at it, maybe because we're at home, probably we have the advantage and all of that. It's not enough to take them away. Don't forget that these young Africans, in the past 5 games, I think they've drawn only once. And the Rivers United, their past 5 games, it has been neither here nor there. One win, one draw, one loss. So this is going to affect how they go into this game. Of course, we have the home advantage. Anyway, most of the times when we have our teams play at home, there's some more.
They're not playing on their home ground. They're playing in the
bookies, yeah, and they're playing you. But the bookies, we have the fans now, and the bookies will always want to give us more odds and as regards that. But I feel like the Rivers United they are able and well, and I think they're equipped to. And like the coach said, I know it's a different level. You cannot underrate this side. The game of psychology is also there. From playing trains of mind games that they're not going to take the game for granted. They're going to look at underrate your opponents. They're not going to look at them because they are young, and Africans, it doesn't mean that they're really young. They have some level of wealth and looking at this Tanzanian side, of course, the familiar foes. We won't call them familiar foes, but I say it's on level of, we've played them over and over again, like 2-3 times, and then we have seen the result in those fans. But I believe that Rivers United, on a very good day, should be taking this game to the bank.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, Cecilia, I talked about this draw. So much respect for young Africans of Tanzania. They're a very decent side, and they come with so much quality because, as you mentioned, they topped their group, comfortably, and that group has got TP Mazembe and Real Bamako, and they were able to, stun US Monastir to top that group with 13 points, though tied on points with Monastir. But they are a team that are trying to prove a point, in African football. And I'll tell you why. It's not just about them. They're looking at Simba, seeing everything Simba has done for Tanzanian football, and it's motivating them. Against Rivers United, I think they will be adventurous. And in football, we say you're as good as your last game. I think it was 2 Sundays ago, they defeated Ajera Sugar in the Tanzanian Super League 5-0. But last week Sunday, they lost 2-0 to Simba. Now, when such a team is coming to you with such a result, they are now at a lot. They don't want to record back-to-back defeats, particularly now at this level of the CAF Confederation Cup. Rivers United, for me, is a very, very decent team, but sometimes they can be very sloppy. Sometimes they take their eyes off the ball, and we saw it in their last, group game in the CAF Confederation Cup in Uyo, where I think they played 2-2 against a team that they were supposed to, beat properly. So with this one now, Stanley Eguma and his team, they need all the focus. Everybody needs to come up. I like what Inyima Wagwa is doing for the team. I like what Aqua is doing for the team also. But this time around, it must be a teamwork. Everybody must come together and, put in their beats and win well. In this sort of game, you want to win comfortably so that when you're going to play your return leg, you just need to do the beats that you need to do to advance, So all the best to Rivers United. I must tell you that this is a tricky game because I know young Africans and the way they are with their adventurous football. So Rivers United must find a way to, avoid mistakes. That's another thing. Avoid penalties, avoid red cards. Just go out there, play coordinated football, play purposeful football, play ambitious football, having in mind that you're going for two-legged fixture, and if you win properly, you're in the next phase of the CAF Confederation Cup. And this is the money-spinning stage of the competition. So when you win more, you get more money, players get more exposure, and everybody at Rivers United gets happy.
They'll be happy. Let me come to Vincent here. When the coach said he's going to have a different approach, against the young Africans, what do you think? What was he thinking? What does he want to tweak? Or what are the things he needs to actually do to ensure they get a victory in the first leg?
Well, I'm not the coach, so I cannot answer
I know. I'm just as an analyst, of course.
Well, let's assume that I'm the coach. Let's assume that we have an idea what he's talking about. Rivers United, like I said before, their form is a bit. I think that after the game, they're playing on Wednesday at the same stadium. Their form in recent times has been in the past 5 games has been sloppy. Although on the continental stage, they've been winning a couple of games. One of the things, like Godwin said, sometimes they can be sloppy. They're very decent side. They know how to play these games. They know how to come. Although coming into this game now, they are not the underdogs.
Yeah.
So I think, and there's a bit of pressure on them now, playing at home, not being the underdogs, having beaten this side back to back. It's a big ask. Not necessarily a big ask per se, but it's an ask for them to have to win this game. Looking at how the side is being, of course, and then you look at this younger person side, they are doing well in the league, winning games, being on a good form. There's no point. At this point in time, there's no time to underrate this side, to look at them, to diminish them. So it's one of the things they have to look at, because if they take their eyes off the gas or take their eyes off the ball, they can fall like a pack of cards. Like just like one team who is they're struggling at the moment at halftime.
Okay, it's just 2-1, so it's not like a big deal. Why are you so mean? Come on. I think the first minute goal that Arsenal conceded. I don't know what Austin was thinking when he was watching that. I saw that 1 minute goal. Before you can see that and settle down, start watching the game, they were only a goal down. Ankaras, that name. You remember the former world #1, because right now he is dropped. Talking about Carlos Ankaras, what he did to the big boys last season in tennis. Then we have one at Southampton that decided to tell Arsenal, look, you guys are trying to win the title, you have to get past us.
He had a fantastic first half for Southampton, and what a story also for Theo Walcott, scoring on his return to the Emirates Stadium and not celebrating. Arsenal need to show that they are a team that can come back. They need to show that a team with character. Very, very important, Cecilia, because at the moment it's about 57 minutes played and it's still Southampton 2, Arsenal 1. The Gunners, like never before, need to win this one, because when Manchester City, they are, roaring behind you, and with the sort of form that they are enjoying at the moment, Arsenal cannot afford to even draw this one. They need to win it to keep hopes alive, and winning tonight will solidify their qualification to the UEFA Champions League. They've been missing from that competition in 7 years. That should have been enough motivation for the Gunners to get into this one. But hey, it's football where anything can happen. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, we'll not just talk about the English Premier League. We'll touch down what's going on with the Nigeria Premier Football League. That's the NPFL. We'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Time to take a look at what's going on in the Nigeria Premier Football League. It's an abridged season, and we're counting down to the end of, should I say, the group phase before we get to the Super 6, March Day 15. And Cecilia, these days when we talk about the NPFL, it's all about, people say, look, it is what it is. Bendel Insurance, unbeaten. Can they keep their unbeaten run going?
It's a big question, but then let's run through what we have for this weekend, and then we'll start answering that question. Obviously, we have Segun Vincent to help us dissect most of the games for tonight. But we'll start up with, of course, the fixtures for Group A, starting with that of Saturday, where Bendel Insurance were up against Academy Warriors. As Austin mentioned earlier, how many draws have they had? 5 in a row. Not looking good. You have just 4 games to go. Except they lose the rest of the games, they can make Super 6, but just win 2 more, they are in that Super 6 slot. And of course, on Sunday, you have Enyimba and Remo Stars. Now, this is another fight you have to watch out for this weekend, because that race for Super 6 is getting hotter. Plateau United and Nasarawa United. Nasarawa United needs to start winning games, or relegation is calling already, just 2 wins this season. And for Shooting Stars and Gombe United, Shooting Stars also are not safe. Gombe also are not safe. Kwara United and Aqua United and Kwara United. Aqua United, of course, in a good position to get to this possible. But Kwara United, it depends on what happens between Nasarawa and, of course, Academy Warriors. Those 2 teams are at the bottom. It might just be one of those teams to join if they don't start winning games. Let's flip over to Group B. What do we have other games for this weekend? Starting with Doma United and Bayelsa United. Doma United, of course, has a team surprise package for this season, newly promoted and also doing well, just like you have Bendel Insurance and, of course, Remo Stars. Niger Tornadoes and Abia Warriors also in action. Sunshine Stars and Lobby Stars. Lobby Stars, of course, topping our Group B. Dakada FC and Enugu Rangers. When it comes to Enugu Rangers, you'll be wondering, what is happening to the team? But what's happening is the fact that this is one of their worst seasons ever. It's hard for them to win games at home. It's hard for them to win games away from home. And just last week, they drew 2-2 at home. So I'll start with you, Segun Vincent. Austin mentioned that Bendel Insurance is a team that you really have to look at because of their unbeaten run. You can't really look at them and say they haven't done well this season. Yes, they've had the draws. We had a discussion before came to the studio concerning how their form have been, and I told you, like, there's some games that you could lose, but somehow you managed to get a draw. When they went to Enyimba and the game against Aqua United, the game against Remo Stars was another tough one for them, coming from a goal down to be able to get a draw in those games.
Yes, of course. If you look at the first 7 games, they won first 7 games, and then the last 5 games, they drew 5 straight games. I remember telling you before we came to the studio that having no draws is more like a relegation form. You were saying that they say unbeaten, but having a relegation form. But on the more serious note, when you look at the Bendel side, because they fought very hard, they are doing very well on the blog. Also, they playing this side. Their opponents. Their opponents are 10th. They're fighting for a relegation spot, and we all know how difficult it is when teams are fighting for fighting a relegation. It's not like a bottleneck situation, because it's very difficult. So they have to fight through. We've seen Bendel United come down from 2 goals down. I can't remember the game again, and they came back. So they have this fighting spirit. And one of the ideas is that when you take a first spot, you are liable to get a more quote unquote more vulnerable opponents that you can easily get to beat in the Super 6. And I think that the race for Super 6 is on. Everybody's fighting for the nearest 30 points and all of that. So I believe that Bendel Insurance being at home should be able to get a result in that game.
All right, hopefully they can do that. Austin, Academy Warriors, condemned to 9 points from 14 matches, and of course they are up against Bendel Insurance on Saturday, and that's how the weekend is going to start for NPFL.
And those are the sort of games that we now come here and we start saying, how did El Kanemi Warriors, produce that sort of result? So it means Bendel Insurance cannot afford to be complacent just because it's El Kanemi Warriors. They are fighting relegation. They would love to stay back. They would look back and say, see what Doma United, a newly promoted side just like, you know, them, see what Doma is doing, and then they are fighting relegation. So it's a potential banana peel game for Bendel Insurance, but they would fancy this sort of match to end their 5 draws in a row. It will be good to see the fans, you know, celebrating a win, because Bendel Insurance have been fantastic this season. So let's see what Monday Odigia and his team can do against El Kanemi Warriors, but it's a tricky game. Yeah. Now let's take a look closely at that Group A and see how important it is for teams as Eimba, Plateau United, and even Aqua United. Eimba must beat Remo Stars to keep relevance on that Group A table. Aqua United must be able to get the results against Kwara United to also stay relevant. Yeah. Plateau United and Nasarawa United always gives us fireworks when they meet. But let's see what Plateau United can do, because right now they are motivated when they take a look at, you know, where they are on the Group A table. Group B, you know, these days there's no way we'll talk about that Group B without talking about Doma United. And they're going to meet Bayelsa United, who, by the way, they're beginning to pick up form. But the last time they both played, it ended 1-1 in Yenagua. Samuel Enefiok with important equalizer for Doma United. And Doma United at the moment, they're enjoying what they are doing in the league. So you would expect them to win this one against Bayelsa United. So we'll wait to see. At the end of the day, it is the teams that really want to stay in the league that will stay. But right now, we know some of the teams that are likely to make it to the Super 6.
I mean, I think we already know the way it's shaping like. And, of course, maybe relegation candidates already. It's also shaping up. Because when you have Nasarawa United winning just 2 games so far this season, Wiki Tourist, another team, and they've changed managers this season. But there is as if, as they're changing managers, they're not having anything. That deduction of points also didn't all go well for them. I mean, if you take a look at the way they are now, that's under teams that is more like relegation candidates. So for these teams, Wiki Tourist, El Kanemi Warriors, Nasarawa United, even Dakada, I mean, these teams, the fear of relegation is real for them.
The fear of relegation is bringing on wisdom. Nasarawa United, El Kanemi, they've been donating points at the beginning of the season, and that's why they are in this situation. Let's not lie to ourselves. Because if you're not donating points, they'll probably be top of the table or probably in a better position. But these are times are hard, and we have 4 we have 4 games left. How can they get? Is it possible for them on paper to get 12 points in those 4 games? If you ask me, now I go ask. But if you ask me in context, it's the possibility of it happening the chances are very little. But can they get it? Because it's more difficult playing teams that are fighting for their mainstay in the league. And I feel like the likes of El Kanemi Warriors, Nasarawa United, Dakada, they are all on that table, and probably the table will be broken, or probably they will add more tables to it. Time will tell. But Bendel Insurance are really Plateau United, that they're really fighting for every ounce of it, because they want to top the table, they want to make it to the Super 6, and which Super 6 is very, very much important. As for El Kanemi and Nasarawa United, they'll say better luck next time.
Interesting. I mean, how you end that. I'm looking at Aqua United. When they started this season, they were on the continent. I mean, now 13 points from 14 matches. Yeah, not looking good for that team also. Well, after this round of matches, we'll see what's going to happen when the table is out on a Sunday night, to see those teams that are closer to being relegated. Of course, those teams that will be in the Super 6. After this weekend and another weekend, I think we can boast and say these are the teams that are, of course, in that position of that Super 6. All right, let's leave the MPFL and quickly touch down on what's going on in Europe. Austin, I mean, updates. Arsenal, have they scored anything? What's happening today? Are they playing well?
There is still Southampton 2, Arsenal 1. The Gunners getting frustrated. I think
it's 3-1 now. I'm hearing 3-1 from the director. So, like, Southampton is actually boxing this around. Okay.
Just when I was about to peep to see what's going on, yes, Southampton scored that goal. It's now Southampton 3, Arsenal 1. Surprise, surprise. Who would have thought with the pump and energy that Arsenal used to get ready for this match, that this will build the scoreline that we will be talking about now. Football can be crazy, and I'm taking a look at it now. The goal was scored in the 66th minute, Cecilia. And as it is now, Arsenal must show that they want to win this league title by doing everything they can to win this one. It's still possible.
Okay, let's see what's going to happen. You'll now be praying for Man City to drop points at this particular moment. But the thing is, they are not in action this weekend. They are playing Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup, and that's where we are going to right now. Manchester City trying to see what they can do to get their hands on that FA Cup trophy. They are in the run in the Champions League. They are in the run in the league title, of course, with Arsenal currently floundering at home. So it simply means Man City, I mean, that's a team you wouldn't want to face. For 15 games unbeaten now, that's what they're currently on. Yes. So FA Cup against Sheffield Wednesday, can you just write it off or...
On paper, if we're talking about probably minimum 4.5 in that game. That's 5 goals. But Pep came out to say, I think it was yesterday or today, I can't remember, that he said the team is getting tired and exhausted, and probably it's true because against Bayern, from the 75th minute, which naturally in football, from the 75th minute players, their pace, the intensity dropped a bit, but the likes of Ake is still injured. Of course, this game against Sheffield United on Sunday, we can throw in the mix the likes of the pairing guy that they bought from Argentina. Alvarez can start in that game. Laporte can start in the game. Second keeper can start there. A couple of people can come in the mix, and Foden, Mahrez, that it can help ease in the body. Calvin Phillips, although Calvin Phillips has been under a lot of scrutiny that it is probably a waste of £40 million. These are one of the things that can really help and ease in the body on the players, so the players can get some rest against the game against Wednesday. And mind you, the game against Wednesday, even if if Man City draw that game against Arsenal, the pressure is still on Arsenal, because Man City, with what the result like it is right now, if the result ends like this against for Arsenal in this game, the pressure is on Arsenal. So Man City can decide to draw that game against Arsenal on Wednesday, or as the case may be, and still have a flight to win the league, because they will have 2 games in hand, and the case may be. So a really disappointing one for Arsenal. But back to the FA Cup game for Man City. Man City they're in the final also. There's 1 draw in how many games, beating every team. In fact, a record came out that the 5 games that Bayern has played against English side, they've all won those games except the games against Man City, and they played Man City 3 times, and they've only played Man City in those 3 times. One of those games was which Pep was coaching Bayern Munich against Man City, which he lost one. I think he drew the second one. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. But Pep Guardiola is on the Blues out the dugouts. Wonderful. They should probably be smashing Sheffield United, and probably they also do Agbaya. What do you call Agbaya? I better pass you. They will put Haaland in that game and probably score a hat-trick or something like that. At least probably break the records of scoring more goals.
Or maybe they'll just rest.
Because they said the record is 60 goals by Dion. Is it Dion Dublin or so? Yeah. Which probably Haaland might be breaking as of 48. So he has 12 more to break that goal. The goals, but that aside, I think Man City should be able to get the result there, and they don't get the result, probably they have no business winning the FA Cup in sense. And man, you are playing Brighton on Monday, which we'll see how it pans out for them.
All right, let's just take a look at the games for this weekend, talking about Premier League, and also get the confirmation of what's currently going on at the Emirates, where Arsenal, they actually 3 goals, it's 3-1. I mean, when you look at it, you're looking at the scoreline, and it should have been the other way around. It should have been maybe 3-1. But what is it looking like? What you have here is Arsenal 1, Southampton 3, and they're actually playing at the Emirates. And the Emirates, the fans, it's buzzing, and the way they started the game on fire. So Southampton are not ready to actually leave this place without anything. We'll see what Arsenal can actually do to ensure that they get all 3 points from this game. But this is what Saturday fixture is looking like in the Premier League. Fulham and Leeds United will be in action. Brentford and Aston Villa also in action. Crystal Palace newly resurgence, and against Everton will also be in action. Leicester City not looking good despite the change in managerial position. It's still the same results they are getting against Wolverhampton. And Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, what they did against Leeds 6-1 after not winning in 5 games, they decide to come back, and they got a fantastic result against Leeds on Monday. Hopefully they will want to continue with that against Nottingham Forest this Sunday. So this is what it's looking like. And of course, for Sunday's game, Bournemouth and West Ham, with that draw against Arsenal, that might even bore them on against Bournemouth. Because Newcastle United haven't lost 3-0 to Aston Villa last weekend. They want to overturn that when they host Tottenham Hotspur also, of course, managerial changes all around in England. Having new coaches actually not helping most of this team. So this is what it's looking like this weekend in the English Premier League. Now, let's quickly talk about this one. Austin, I remember last week when we were talking about, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We were talking about how Manchester United actually allowed Sevilla to come into the game and, of course, get a draw away at Old Trafford. And then you were saying that they've actually thrown away that game. And, of course, what happened on Thursday night happened. They were dropped 3-0. Yes, most of their defenders are injured. Yes, it was calamitous mistake from their captain Maguire in the first goal, and the third goal, the goalkeeper David De Gea, we don't know what he was doing outside. But somehow it was written in the stars when you mentioned that Sevilla won't let this go. They got a chance, they took it. With them struggling in La Liga, battling relegation, but when it comes to Europa League, those guys aren't smiling. And Manchester United right now against Brighton, how can they bounce back from that dropping on Thursday night and put themselves together for something against Brighton on Sunday?
They need to just put that result behind them. It's pretty disappointing. It's heartbreaking. Manchester United didn't set up to lose that game the way they did against Sevilla, and that's why these guys are professionals. And no matter what anyone will say, when you look at what they have in that Manchester United side, you expect them to all day, every day win that sort of game against Sevilla. But Sevilla loves the Europa League and made, little mistakes and went on to win it. Brighton is going to be very tough. Don't forget, Brighton, they are the giant killers in England. When they see big teams, they just play their best football. Go ask Liverpool, go and ask Chelsea, to an extent, even Arsenal, So this is a cup game, and these small teams, sometimes this is all they live for. That's why nobody should quickly give it to Manchester City against Sheffield United, because Sheffield United might just see that as a motivation that they're playing a big team and need to do what they can. But Erik ten Hag just needs to work on the psychology of his team. The mentality is very, very important. This is a big side. They've already won a trophy that can also motivate them. So against Brighton is going to be very, very tough. I know this for sure, because Brighton, they know how to set up against big teams, and somehow they also know how to score. They're very adventurous. They don't know how to respect the big guys. So I think that's the sort of approach they're going to give this cup game. And on a good day, Manchester United also find their rhythm, they will go on to win this one. When there's something they need for these smaller teams, they just come all out and give their best. Let's listen to Erik ten Hag. He's been speaking ahead of that one.
First of all, you have to acknowledge it's the truth, and we have to do better. And I know that. I have to teach the players that they do better in such circumstances and such occasions, that we deal better with such expectations, because, as you said, that demands are on this team, and because we are Man United, are higher, and we have to deal with it. We have to improve it. So I have to teach the players, and the players have to step up. I always think about, do I refresh because I have a squad? But also I know that we, in this season, when we had bad defeats, bad performances, we bounced back. And I'm convinced, and I have a strong belief we can do again.
He said the right thing, Cecilia. Yeah. They need to know that they are Manchester United. That's the sort of spirit they need to take into that game against Brighton. Right. He also said that after a bad result, they need to bounce back. But then again, football can be funny. It can get worse.
Right, so, but we gotta go.
So I don't know how he's going to do that.
So we gotta go.
The game between Arsenal and Southampton is still 3-1. The Gunners enjoying ball possession, but not just putting it at the back of the net. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan, and in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, Segun said, it's been nice doing this with you again.
It's nice doing with you, yeah. Hopefully next week I go through, so maybe the game I go through.
All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a fantastic weekend.